I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the Cowboy Man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses because it would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Paranormal Odyssey. Got another little short story for you guys this morning. But as always, before we get there, if you would, please hit that subscribe button. If you don't mind, I would greatly appreciate it. If you have had an encounter, would like to come on and share it with me, with us, all of the listeners or viewers, love to talk to you about that. First step is shooting me an email. You can get me at wayne@paranormalworldproductions.com. Yep. Shoot me an email if you want to come on and share. All right, gonna jump into it. Today we are talking about the Witch of Hampton, Goody Cole. Another one I'm not familiar with. The Legend of Goody Cole. Goodwife Eunice Cole of Hampton, Massachusetts, was so vehemently suspected to be a witch that she was arrested in 1680 for the third time and was thrown into the Ipswich jail with a chain on her leg. She had a mumbling habit, which was bad, and a wild look, which was worse. The death of 2 calves had been charged to her sorceries, and she was believed to have raised the cyclone that sent a party of merrymakers to the sea bottom off the Isles of Shoals for insulting her that morning. Here is an excerpt from a poem written by John Greenleaf Whittier. As they rounded the point where Goody Cole sat by her door with her wheel a-twirl, a bent, a blare-eyed poor old soul, "Oh-ho," she muttered, "you're brave today. But I hear the little waves laugh and say, the broth will be cold that waits at home. For it's one to go, but another to come." She cursed, said the skipper, "Speak her fair. I'm scary always to see her shake her wicked head with its wild gray hair, and nose like a hawk, and eyes like a snake." Some said that Goody Cole took the shapes of eagles, dogs, and cats, and that she had the aspect of an ape when she went through the mummeries that caused Goody Martin's child to die. Yet while she was in the Ipswich jail, a likeness of her was stumping about in the graveyard on the day when they buried the child. For such offenses, including making bread ferment and give forth evil odors, she was several times whipped and ducked by the constable. At last she lay under sentence of death in the Ipswich jail, for Anna Dalton declared that her child had been changed into its cradle, and that she hated and feared the thing that had been left there. Her husband Ezra had pleaded with her in vain. "It's no child of mine," she cried. "'Tis an imp. Don't you see how old and shrewd it is? How wrinkled and ugly? It does not take my milk. It is suckling my blood and wearing me to skin and bone." Once as she sat brooding by the fire, she turned to her husband and said, "Rake the coals out and put the child in them. Goody Cole will fly fast enough when she hears it screaming, and will come down chimney in shape of an owl or bat and take the thing away. Then we shall have our little one back." Goodman Dalton sighed as he looked into the worn, scowling face of his wife. Then, laying his hands on her head, he prayed to God that she might be led out of the shadow and made love her child again. As he prayed, a gleam of sunset shone in at the window and made a halo around the face of the smiling babe. Mistress Dalton looked at the little thing in doubt, then a glow of recognition came into her eyes, and with a sob of joy she caught the child to her breast, while Dalton embraced them both, deeply happy, for his wife had recovered her reason. The Changeling, excerpt from poem by John Greenleaf Whittier. Now the weariest of all mothers, the saddest 2 years bride, she scowls in the face of her husband and spurns her child aside. "Rake out the red coals, goodman, for there the child shall lie, till the black witch comes to fetch her, and both up chimney fly. It's never my own, little daughter, it's never my own," she said. "The witches have stolen my Anna, and left me an imp instead." In the midst of tears and kisses, the woman started with a faint cry. She remembered that the poor old creature, Goody Cole, was about to expiate on the gallows a crime that had never been committed. She urged her husband to ride with all speed to Justice Sewall and demand that Goody Cole be freed. This the goodman did, arriving at Newbury at 10 o'clock at night, when the town had long been abed and asleep. By dint of alarms at the justice's door, he brought forth that worthy in gown and nightcap, and after the case had been explained to him, he wrote an order for Mistress Cole's release. With this paper in his hand, Dalton rode at once to Ipswich, and when the cock crew in the dawning, the victim on the horrible charge walked forth without her manacles. Another excerpt. "Now mount and ride, my goodman, as thou lovest thy own soul woe. Warns me if my wicked fancies be the death of Goody Cole." His horse he saddled and bridled, and into the night rode he, now through the great black woodland, now by the white beached sea. He rode through the silent clearings, he came to the ferry wide, and thrice he called to the boatman asleep on the other side. He set his horse to the river. He swam to Newbury town, and he called up Justice Sewall in his nightcap and his gown. And the grave and the worshipped justice, upon whose soul be peace, set his name to the jailer's warrant for Goodwife Cole's release. Then through the night the hoof beats went sounding like a flail, and Goody Cole at cockcrew came forth from Ipswich jail. Dark suspicion hung about the bedlam to the last, and she died as she had lived, alone in her little cabin. Even after her demise, the villagers could with difficulty summon courage to enter her cot and give her burial. Her body was tumbled into a pit hastily dug near her door, and a stake was driven through the heart to exorcise the powers of evil that possessed her in life. All right. What do you guys think about that one? Certainly got a little creep factor to it, and that's what we like. All right, guys, let me know what you think about what you thought about that one. If you have any suggestions for anything else that you would like me covered, if you like these old tales, old legends, if you want to hear more urban legends, more cryptid stuff, just let me know what you guys think. Shoot me an email, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com. And before we get out of here, I want to remind everyone again, I just mentioned this a couple episodes back. Brian and I both have this feature on the website, I'll pop it up, paranormalworldproductions.com. We have a feature under our name and our pictures. It says, leave Brian a voicemail, leave Wayne a voicemail. Guys, that's a really, really cool feature that people aren't taking advantage of because we haven't talked a lot about it. What you can do is, if you don't want to come on a show and talk yourself and be ask questions, or come on a live show and have your face shown and ask questions. If you just want to share your story, which a lot of people want to do, that is a great way to do it. Just go click on that. I think you get 5 minutes worth of recording, but that's not a problem. Just cut it off there at the 5 minutes, hit the button again, and pick right back up where you left off. And however many times it takes to tell your story, that's fine. I'll get, if you send it to me, I'll get notified. No one will see it but me. If you do it to Brian, no one will see it or hear it but him. And yeah, we'll get enough of those to put an episode together. I think Brian's done at least one episode from listeners, and I'd like to start doing those as well. So guys, if that sounds more like your cup of tea, please head over to the website and do that. paranormalworldproductions.com. All right, I want to remind everybody about Wednesday and Sunday's podcast releases. That's every week, releasing 2 episodes. And every Friday night, you get a third of the live variety. Just right here where you're at right now. Paranormal Odyssey Live. Have a guest on every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Love to have you guys swing by and ask some questions and interact. You know, the live part has been growing recently. There's been a lot more participation from the audience, which is awesome. Each week we add more and more viewers, so we're definitely heading in the right direction. I want to encourage everyone, if you're interested in that, to please take part and come participate. All right, guys, I think that's enough. Another 15 or so minute video. And yeah, let me know if you like these short ones. Let me know what you think about that. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Catch you next time.